This has had an eventful couple of weeks. Fresh off feuding with 60 Minutes, DeSantis is now taken on YouTube after the company pulled down one of his COVID-19 roundtable videos saying that it spread misinformation. Over the weekend, YouTube removed videos, including 10 Tampa Bays, claiming that Governor DeSantis and a panel of hand-picked COVID-19 doctors spread misinformation. Now, that group got together again today. 10 Tampa Bay's Eric Glasser had the opportunity to listen in to what that group had said, and the governor decided to hit back at big tech.
We're not going to be silenced.
Governor Ron DeSantis is pushing back against YouTube.
Do we really have our discourse limited by a handful of massive, large, very wealthy Silicon Valley companies?
The governor brought back members of the same panel of experts who once again questioned mask efficacy and the merits of lockdowns, but this time with a focus on what they called censorship.
This is almost the end of our civilization if we have this sort of censorship, I'm afraid.
Let's hear the argument. Let's see the evidence that YouTube used to decide it was misinformation.
But critics say Governor DeSantis is no saint himself when it comes to excluding opposing viewpoints.
The governor keeps going after big tech and using that type of rhetoric because it appeals to his base.
State Representative Eskamani says when it's come to forming COVID task force groups and panel discussions on issues like reopening schools, the governor is notorious for presenting only one viewpoint. His own.
He complains about censorship. From his perspective, all sides are not being heard, and yet he does not share all perspectives on the issues that he deals with every single day.
DeSantis made it clear he plans to use the YouTube decision to fuel the so-called big tech bill working its way through the Florida legislature, introduced after former President Trump was deplatformed.
Because quite frankly, this is even more egregious than even what I thought had been happening.
Governor DeSantis says there's still no shortage of misinformation out there on platforms like YouTube and others, so he questions why some speech is being targeted while some is not. But critics say this isn't about some wild conspiracy theory. They say it's about people's health and well-being.
Now, the governor and his panel take credit for Florida having been an open state while others were in lockdown. But local county and cities passed lockdowns and mask mandates, some of which are still in effect. Taking a deeper dive, though, researchers have found the effectiveness of lockdowns varies and that there's not a one-size-fits-all approach. According to a study published in Nature, closing and restricting places, I should say, where people gather for extended periods of time, whether that's businesses, bars, schools, whatever, can be effective at slowing the spread. But the least drastic measures might actually do the best job of getting people to follow the rules. Researchers looked at more than 6,000 government interventions worldwide and found the less disruptive actions like warnings about traveling to high-risk areas and encouraging people to stay home can actually be as effective as a national lockdown.